Video where I talk about a fair Texas redistricting, and without further ado, let's get right into your video. First of all, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you're new, and yes, so hopefully we can hit 80 subscribers by the end of this year. If we look at the Texas map that's currently been basically approved, this map is a pretty, I'd say, gerrymandered map. If you look at the districts, a lot of these are barely contiguous. If we look at the Dallas area, and if we look at the Houston area, it doesn't necessarily look that nice as well. You can see that Houston's pretty much cracked into several districts. You know, San Antonio, the thin line is a problem here. It doesn't look very nice, and just a lot of these districts are pretty bad, honestly. So I'm going to be drawing a map that is relatively fair, and this is the map I came up with using President 2020 data, which effectively gives the Republicans 20 districts and Democrats 18. Now this map looks pretty good, but there is a problem, is that in the state of Texas, Republicans surprisingly have bad geographics, and the maps that look the best tend to underestimate the Republicans. That's true in the state of Texas. But I did try my best to draw these districts so that they are still relatively unbiased towards one party or the other. I may be able to make a few changes to make the Republicans more happy about this map. For example, maybe making the 10th more solid for the GOP by grabbing some of these rural precincts instead of these ex-urban precincts. Maybe I can make the 17th slightly redder so it has a Republican partisan lean. Right now it's only R plus D plus, let me see. So in this map here, it has a Democratic lean of about D plus 0.4. So in theory, could make this district red. You know, there's just a few improvements I could have made to this map, but I think this is a pretty good estimate. Honestly, I did not have a huge amount of time to make this, but this is a good looking and be relatively proportional compared to the current maps. If we look at the analytics here, it's 100% proportional. Democrats, according to this, actually gets underestimated, but I think it's fine because honestly, the Democrats are going to more likely be able to do better. If we look at the competitiveness, not very good, it's at 31, but it doesn't really make any difference because it's very hard to make too much competitive districts. Minority representation is good. If we look at this is not actually VIA compliant. I'm not sure why it isn't though. I think it actually is. It might just be because I changed the district numbers. It's pretty compact, overall, and it doesn't split that much. Again, district splitting and county splitting, I did decent, I'd say. I mean, yes, I could have done better with these metrics, but again, in Texas, you have to split a bunch of counties just to make the results a little bit more favorable towards the Republicans. So we could start looking at the districts. I don't think there's anything to look at in these rural districts. So we could start by going to the Dallas area. These areas have quite a few districts. This is by the precincts. Now, if we look at a lot of these results here, I did try to make the map as unbiased as possible, and some of these does look a little bit weird, but that's just trying to get minority representation together. I know I could have done a better job, but yeah, I only had that much time, so this is how well I was able to do. These are the partisan leans of these districts. A lot of these districts have trended blue very heavily. If we look at the 8th district itself, I'm going to be showing you guys the 8th district. And then if we show only current, and then turn off partisan lean, this is the partisan lean 2020. If we look at the partisan lean in 2016, the district had a lot less blue precincts. If we look at Senator 2018 Dallas Barrel Road performance, you can see very well performed he was, but it was relatively similar to Biden. If we look at let's say Senate 2020, you see a very similar story here, very red district. If you look at Governor 2018, it's even redder. I mean, you can see that it basically follows from 2016, except it's probably even redder than that. So yeah, but if we go back to 2020, you can see very much a lot of blue precincts. The same thing with the 10th district. It's barely red. It's because of these upper areas that have a more larger bipartisan lean. There's some Democratic precincts down here, but they're just not enough to skew this district itself. For 2016, you see that there's barely any blue precincts. Now it's it's a very competitive district overall. I had to crack in Plano and grab some blue precincts because, unfortunately, if I add it in this area, this is going to create maybe another Democratic district because, so it's a little bit skewed. So that's why I did this. Now the 12th district did do some county splitting, I believe, but it's overall decent. I mean, it's not that big of a deal overall. Yeah, I did split up some counties up here. I did split up this county. I split up this county here as well. If we look at the 9th district, this is just an attempt to keep the Black Americans. The 6th district is a district that also has quite a few Democratic areas. Now, the 5th district is a little bit more competitive. We look at the results here. You can't really see it, but I'll read it to you guys. It's about D plus 36,000 votes, or about D plus 13. The 4th district, the neighboring district, this is about a R plus 10 district. These are the precincts. If we look at the 4th, again, you can see the same story here, very dramatically trending towards the left. If you look at 2016, this is the county map you get. In 2020, in Governor 2018, that's what you get. An even better map. In 2020, you don't really get too much good for the Republicans. The same thing could be applied to the 5th district. The 7th district is the most competitive district as it stands right now. It grabs in the Dallas area and that just stretches into the county of Kunstman and Rockwall. Rockwall actually has quite a few, very little amounts of precincts, but it has a quite large population. You can see these precincts have 18,000 people in them. So both of those counties make up 250,000 people in total, so that was able to make the district very competitive, as the Republicans are able to net about, I think 40,000 votes in those counties, but the Republican votes get diluted because of this area, and the Democratic votes, Republicans are able to get a few precincts to go in their favor there. Again, a massively trending blue area. If we go to the Austin area, this is Austin. The 19th district, I did try to make it a little bit more competitive, but if we look at the statistics here, the 19th district, just to highlight it, it's still 2-1 Democratic. The 17th district is only about D plus 0.4. It's because Biden was able to carry Williamson very, very narrowly. The remaining parts of Austin actually favor the Republicans a little bit, but just not enough to bring back this deficit here. Again, Williamson County is a county that really trended heavily Democratic this election. If you look at the only current, I think it's not very surprising if you look at only current. Then we go to Governor 2018. This is a map you'll get, and this district is basically safe Republican, but right now it's actually lean Democrat, or tilt Democrat, that is. If we look at Austin, it's in this 18th district. If we go to San Antonio, the county of San Antonio has actually cracked quite a few times. Same with Travis. Basically, I did try to stretch this into 3 districts. The 32nd district is pretty competitive overall. The district is trending Democratic, although not by the margin you think because of the rural areas. I mean, the rural areas does take in quite a significant portion of this district, and this district is not all Democratic after all, and the main parts of San Antonio is in the 33rd district, but this is a more like exurban district that is pretty blue, but it's just not very, very blue. It's about B plus 25. This district, however, is pretty blue. It's a Hispanic district that the 34th is a Hispanic district, I believe. The 34th, it's a 70% Hispanic district. Now, this part is not VRA compliant, I believe, but yeah, you can fix that pretty easily. I mean, it's just a mess when you do that, so I'm just going to do it like this. If you look at the downstate area, the Hispanic areas, the 35th is basically Fort Worth. This 36 is the Hispanic areas, and then down here we have the precincts in the county of Hidalgo. Hidalgo is 91% Hispanic and is more than enough to cover one congressional district. The 37th district, though, this is a district that you can see how Hillary Clinton was able to do so well in this district that Biden almost lost the district. If you look at these precincts and we go to, let's say, President 2016, look at this. Look at this compared to the current map. You can just see how large of a change this was. Governor 2018, yeah, it's a little bit redder, but still much bluer than the current map. Anyway, even though Governor 2018, the Democrats lost by over 10. Senate 2020, you see, again, Senate 2020 was not overwhelmingly good for Democrats. If we just look at the straight partisan lean, but it was still much better for Democrats than, this was just very horrible for Democrats. If we look at Governor 2018, that was a very successful run for Democrats, still not getting that Hillary Clinton number. Very close, but not getting that. President 2020, this is just what you got. It's a lot redder. You can see the 38th district, very similar thing. You can see the 36th district, for example. Let's zoom into this portion. The 36th district, let's go to this portion. We can look at the only current. This is President 2020 data. If we go to President 2016 data, you can see how much bluer these areas are. You can see this city is particularly so much more blue. And if we look at President 2020 data, this is barely blue, alright? You can see there's so much more blue in these areas. This district is not even D plus 10, which is very bad, honestly. The 38th district, though, this is a district that Biden lost by 5 points. I had to grab out Corpus Christi to make this district a little bit more fair basically to make the district a little bit fairer, because otherwise the Democrats may have no chance, the Republicans have no chance of flipping this district, which isn't very fair. Actually, I can make a few changes to make it even more of a Republican-leaning seat. The Democrats could still win the seat, but it's just much more difficult with this map, especially with Biden's performance. Biden did very bad as a Democrat. It's not even an opinion that Biden did very bad with Hispanics, but especially bad with Hispanics in Texas. If you look at this, I think this may be a little bit better here. You can just see that this district is about R plus 8. I'd say this is a relatively good map. If we look at Hillary Clinton's performance, you can see the exact same thing. Actually, we can just take a look at the precincts first of all. We look at the partisan lane, and then we go to 38th, and then only current. These are the precincts down here. I'm not going to go to Corpus Christi. We can just look at this area, the Brownsville, Heartland. There's quite a few Republican precincts. Just look at President 2016. Well, just look at these areas. It's just much bluer. It's just so much bluer than right now what we have. Right now, it's just so much redder in these areas. I don't think I can find even one precinct that binded better than Hillary Clinton in. Now we look at the Houston area. This is the area that the Republicans should be the most concerned. Alright. The urban seats, these 3 seats are staying with the Democrats. The 26th district is very, very mildly competitive. But in the future, I mean, right now it's still R plus 35. The 30th could become competitive in the future, but right now it just doesn't look like that. It's R plus 11. In theory, the Democrats could flip it, but you do need to take in mind that a lot of these areas are actually Republican counties, so the only area Democrats could improve it is this Aleph area, but that's only a very small portion of the state, a small portion of the district's population, so I won't bang much hope on the Democrats in the 30th district. 28th district, it is mainly Brazilian County. If we look at President 2020, that's what we have here as well. If you look at the precinct details, what the Democrats could bang on is these areas, but right now speaking, it's probably out of reach. Now, the 23rd district may be the Democrats' best bet. It is basically all ex-urban, but in the future, the Democrats may be able to flip it. Not now. If we look at the 27th, though, I think the Democrats are favored in this district. It's still a 4th district for Democrats in the state of Texas. The reason Republicans are able to make it close is because of these areas, and most importantly, these Republican areas that are just able to make this district competitive. But I think in the end, though, it has a pretty clear Democratic lead as it stands right now. So this is what map you get. If you look at this, it's much more compact than this. Because if we turn them at the same size, you can see that this district, you don't see any contiguous problems, you don't see anything. But in this map, you do see some problems up in Dallas. If we look at this, yeah, it doesn't look very contiguous to me. It is contiguous, but it doesn't look very good to me. You can just look at these Houston districts. This is a much more, I guess, compact map. Not necessarily Houston, because I just need to keep the black representation, but basically I think this is relatively good. It might not be the best, but it's still decent. I mean, this is a map I think both parties could agree it's not a gerrymander. May favor the Democrats a little bit, but I think it's not a gerrymander. So thanks for watching today's video. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel. We're on the way to 100 subs, so hopefully we do eventually get there. Thanks for watching today's video. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys probably in my next video. Bye!